For the first time, we're welcoming you to a brand new series. We're going to find out who's got the ponies. Literally, it's the Ford Mustang Ohio sports car course brought to you by Ford. Built Ford, everybody. I'm John Hindhaugh, and this is the dawn of a new era as Ford is back with its own single manufacturer race. The Ford Mustang dark car is the weapon of choice for everybody. So the only thing that's different and that can make the difference is the nut at the end of the wheel. It is the carbon-based life form that will be doing all of the hard work. 27 cars lining up in sunshine here at middle kick-off our IMS radio and IMSA TV coverage. It's busy with a Super Saturday coming up as well, just outside Lexington, Ohio. 13 corners, just 2.5 miles, pretty compact, but my goodness me, there's a bit of everything here. The start line and the finish line in slices, and we go to the keyhole and then down towards turn 4 with the big beach right in front of the drivers, through what the locals call madness, over the top of the hill at turn number 8 and down Thunder Valley before they head back towards the carousel and loop back the pit lane on the left hand side. Well, absolutely fantastic to see all of these cars the first time, so the liveries are all brand new to me and to you as well. Let's take a quick look at the sharp end of the grid, and Tyler Maxson and Robert Noecker have locked out the first ever front row for Robert Noecker Racing. There was barely a tenth between them in the 74 and 13. Tyler Maxson then. That's the quiz question answer, isn't it? Who was the first Mustang Challenge pole sitter? Tyler Maxson. Write it down. You might need it sometime. Could win you something in a motorsport quiz. Behind them on Rhodes Godovic for Precision Performance Motorsport in the number 46. The 26 is Sam Paley. You'll be recognising some of these voices from, some of these names rather, from other IMSA championships. Sam Paley in the 26 then. On the outside of row 2. Nate Cicero for Macumbi Macaleer Racing. He's got Jeremy Fletcher, his teammate, 82 and 22 on row 3. Reid Sweeney for Robert Noecker Racing, making it 3 of their cars in the top 7. Chloe Chambers is in as a super sub for the American Fragrance Competition Motorsports car. That is the number 1, and she will just be here for this first round of the championship. Making up the top 10, Zach Lee for Macumbi Macaleer and Alex Buescher. First ones in Zach Lee is the pole sitter in our Dark Horse Legends class. That is for the drivers with a little more life experience, as we always like to say, and that is the only difference. The cars are all identical. Got an opportunity to run down a few more of the drivers. Max Opalski for Max Opalski Racing on the outside of row 6 with Wes Slimp on the inside for Precision Ports. Christian Bach and Gabe Tesh for Core and MDK are on row number 7. DJ Randall for Core and Marcus Vento for JV Racing Team are on row 8. Tom Tate for MDK and Larry Webster for Automatic Racing on row 9, making up the top 20. MDK Motorsports, Jim Farley, the man at the top of Ford, is Nick Smither. He says he doesn't mind if his customers go by and pass him because it's all about the customer experience. Jim Farley is a racer. He may say that, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm sure he's not going to put somebody in the weeds, but he's not going to put his hand out the window and wave people by either. He is a fierce competitor. Now, we've just gone through the finish line and the clock has started. Effectively, we are under yellow for this half lap until we get on to the main straight, sort of half out the kink at turn 3, and they are moving down. Moving up to the keyhole and round to the starting line. That looks pretty decent. Pole position, Tyler Maxson, Robert Noecker Racing teammate, and the man with his name above the door, quite literally, in the 13 car, right alongside him, 74, the orange and black is the pole sitter, and we get a green flag, and the Mustang Challenge 2024 is underway. Mustang Challenge brought to you by Ford, built for Ford proud, and they are doing Ford proud at the moment as they go through into the twisties for the first time at Madness, and the pole sitter has converted into a lead. Coming through the field in the red, white and black cars, the number 46, Brandon Godovic. Actually, he must have dropped a couple of places there. He started on the inside of row 2, and he's dropped at least one place. Everyone files through nicely. Beautiful conditions here, 23 degrees in the air, 27 Celsius on the track. As is standard operational procedure, the start is under review. Don't read anything into that. But this completes the first lap of Mustang Challenge, part of the IMSA package for 2024. And these brilliant sounding V8s rumble through the start-finish line. Not for these drivers, flappy paddles and flicking up and down the gearbox. This is a 6-speed with a shift, 3 pedals. So the art of changing gear in a racing car is back in fashion. Isn't it brilliant? These cars built for racing, obviously sharing a lot of DNA with the Dark Horse street car. Indeed, Ford are so keen on keeping the operating costs down that they earlier on in the month issued a huge list of parts and part numbers for these cars that are exactly the same as the street version of this car, and that you could go to your local Ford dealer, which is, I think there's a Ford dealer, I think I found 10 miles away from here at Mid-Ohio. So if you need anything, can you go to the parts truck? Yes, you can, of course, to be supported. But you can also, on Monday, when you get back to your local Blue Oval dealer, and pick up a vast array of parts for these cars. Tyler Maxson from Noaker, Sam Paley holding on to 3rd, then Godovic, Jeremy Fletcher in 5th, Nate Cicero in 6th position, and the top 3 just getting away. The battle at the moment with Brandon Godovic in the red, white and black car, the blue and white of Jeremy Fletcher as they go through the first corner, climb the hill, lead pair, controlling this at the moment, time certain race, no planned pit stops as they brake and turn right-handed, downshifting. There is a rev match facility that comes straight from the road car. Some of these drivers will use that, some of them will turn it off and reacquaint themselves with a bit of heeling and towing. So riding the brake with one part of your right foot and blinking the throttle down through the gearbox with the other. It's something that people our age grew up with, driving regular transmissions rather than automatics. Now these are the 2 teammates that are battling at the front of the field. Just half a second between them at the moment. Robert Noaker in the blue and white car in 2nd at the moment as they come over the rise and head back towards the pit lane. Very quick through there. And don't these cars look well planted? And there's a little bit of a gap to Sam Paley. Sam learned his trade in Miata and MX5 racing, was exceptionally good as a rookie, and there's been a coming together, and that's Jim Farley. No, it's not, it's Chloe in the number 1 car, in the blue car. Chloe Chambers has had an incident, and that's broken suspension, I'm afraid. She'll come straight into the pit lane with right rear lower wishbone damage from what I can see, and that didn't happen on its own. So how did that occur? Waiting to see Chloe in the background. Now she was running just ahead of Zach Lee and Max Opalski, and I think it was now Zoe will come into the pit lane. We'll see what the I think it was a 33. It was Alex Pachura who'd been coming through the field for Spark Performance in the grey and orange car. And bizarrely, he's got right rear damage as well. I don't think either of those cars are going to go any further. Chloe's in the pit lane, and Alex has stopped on the far side of the circuit. Zachary Lee still leads the Legends class for those of a certain age, and you have to be either bronze or not rated as an FIA driver, so it's 45 and above for the Legends. But if you're a silver driver, you've got to go into the Dark Horse category. And also a problem out on track for the number 52, Christian Bach, who was running in a strong position just outside the top 10 for Core Motorsports, and Wesley Slips come into the pits. Now, my dad used to be a policeman, and he didn't believe in coincidences. They were together on the track. Do we have the evidence? We have circumstantial at the moment. They were side by side. Oh, and a nasty flick to the right from Wesley's car, and that's what caused the coming together. And the 47 and the 52 with Christian Bach and Wesley Slimp just getting together, and again that suspension damage. Well, the parts truck is going to be busy this weekend, and we're only 13 or 14 minutes into, in fact only 7.5 minutes, sorry, I've doubled the time up because we've had so much going on, but it hasn't bothered the two guys at the front of the field. And they are running away with it at the sharp end. The two Robert Noaker Racing cars, their gap something like a couple of seconds, but that I think is going to disappear. My timing screen is telling me we're going full course yellow, and yes it is. Out comes the Dark Horse up, and I thought I saw a flag. There's some debris on the track which came from either Wesley or Christian's car. Looks like a wheel arch liner, a fender liner that has come off in the entrance towards the carousel. So 8.5 minutes into the season, 8.5 minutes into the Mustang Challenge. So fantastic racing at the front of the field, but those guys will have to do it again. Mustang Challenge on IMSA Radio and IMSA TV, brought to you by Ford. Built Ford proud. Yeah, I think you've got to say that Wesley initiated the contact, but he was having a moment of his own in that Precision Performance car. And Brandon Godovic off as well in the 46 car, and he's beached in the gravel. The IMSA AMR safety team already with him and trying to pull him, or pull his car at least, out of the beach. I suspect that is down at turn 4. Yes, I think it is. It is one of the bigger gravel traps in American Motorsports, China Beach. Be a nice place to get the deck chairs out, maybe a nice beverage service down there, except you'd be in the firing line and it would be exceptionally dangerous. Great place to watch on Drivers Right though, up on the top of the hill there, good overtaking spot down at the entrance to China Beach, and then that follow my leader section. But these cars you can get side by side. So 34.5 minutes still to go. 10 minutes in, we will have the restart coming up as soon as our hard-working safety teams get things sorted. I'm seeing Christian Bach on the tracker moving again, just passing the safety vehicles to China Beach and coming up through turn 6, 7, 8 and 9. So Now for me is, has he dropped the lap? I don't think he has. He might have got in and out, and that Cornwall's team might have got him back on the end of the pack here. Coming through turn 9 now, if my team is to be believed. Tyler Maxon here put in a 1:33 in qualifying. Just got 90 miles an hour average around this tight, twisty circuit. And he is exactly as good with that in race trim. I mean, that any day of the week, cars full of racing fuel. And they will be getting lighter. Mustang Challenge is brought to you by Ford. Ford proud. And our coverage live from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Club course. They resurfaced around the whole circuit. And it's been a couple of years since we have been here for IMSA. What a way to announce the return with a 4-hour Michelin Pilot race is our headline on tomorrow, on Sunday. Well, incredibly, Brandon got dragged out to China Beach and he's facing the traffic. He's dropped a couple of laps, but he is going to be able to join on when it's safe to do so. He's going to have to let the whole field go through. Just making sure everyone can see him as they come down the hill. Actually, I hope that he doesn't get penalised for driving wrong direction, because I think that was actually not a bad idea. Has he found where reverse is? Something that you often don't need on a first race back in 1996 in a Ford, funny enough. Ford Fiesta Challenge in the British Touring Car Championship. I got turned around early on and I'd never looked to see where reverse was when I was doing all the practice. Guess what I always do when I get in a race car now? Yeah, you learn by your mistakes. Make a mistake once, fine. You don't make it twice. Well, our hard safety teams have got everything cleared up. That's very nice. It will surprise you, I'm sure, not at all, to know that the incidents that we had leading to this full course caution are under review. So that's Brandon Godovic, who came into contact with Nate Cicero, we're hearing from race control. That's been looked at. Before that, they're going to look at the Christian Bach and Wesley Slimp incident, the 52 and the 47. And they will look at them in the order in which they happened. Still got a couple of safety vehicles on the circuit. Back into the pit lane for Brandon Godovic. A couple of laps down. He's trying to get some of that China Beach gravel out from underneath his pristinely prepared number 46. Brandon started on the inside of the second row, dropped a position at the start when Sam Paley nipped through, and was leading the second group, and then ended up with part of the car at least in the gravel. Team are looking at the tyres as well on the right rear. We're not going back to green just yet, but as I say, it's a couple of laps down, but this is important. The guys at Ford Performance have done a fantastic job to turn out these 27 cars, and there are more to but some of the teams have had very little time with their cars, so any time under the wheels here at Mid-Ohio will be time well spent and data, valuable data being collected. Coming down to half a minute, just half an hour, just still to go, with beautiful conditions here on our Super Saturday. Full programme with more races to come up, MX5 to come, of course, and we've got the qualifying for you as well, the Pilot Challenge, the O'Reilly Auto Parts 4-hour race, which is our headline tomorrow. Jeremy Shaw and Shea Adam joining me at various parts of the weekend in our Ford Performance Global Broadcast Centre. I owned a Ford Mustang for 10 days. It's a 1970 car, and bought it and moved it on. It is one of my biggest regrets. Looks like we've nearly got rid of the clear up as the marshals just waving the yellows. There should be a white flag coming out in front of the field any second now as the flatbed takes the final of the cars out. Yeah, I had the opportunity to buy that Mustang. I drove it for about a quarter of a mile, and for at least half of that the rear wheels were spinning. It was on a private road, I should hasten to add. Ford in the UK. Mustangs, of course, we looked up with those in the 1960s, and like every one of my era, my dad's first car was a Ford Angular 105E. You won't know what that is in the US, but go and look it up. It had a cheeky little back window that angled back into the back of the car, and a couple of rear fins as well, which was very much of the time in the mid-1960s. Zach Lee on pole position for the Dark Horse Legends. He's converted that into the lead. Qualified well up inside the top 10 actually, in 9th position for Montgomery-Macalia Racing. A team, it's not just the quality of the teams here, it's the quality of the drivers, rather, the quality of the teams as well. And Zach Lee has made his mark with the Chrome. Can we call that a dark horse? Surely it's a chrome horse, isn't it? I mean, it's not being a dark horse at all, it's saying look at me. I wonder if you catch it right if you actually can't see it on the track because it's reflecting that much. Is that what he's trying to do? Make it stealthy. Well, he's got his way up to 7th position with problems ahead of him, and he's got his nearest competitor, Tom Tate, who's worked his way up through the field. Tom started down in 17th, he's now in 13th and second in the Legends. He's Roush behind him for Robert Noe Racing. We're going to go, and that will happen on the straight. Great restart by Tyler Maxon with 26.5 minutes to go at Mid-Ohio. Ford Mustang Challenge, opening round for 2024. The V8s with their distinctive calling card. Climbing the hill to the keyhole for the 10th time of asking. Now, who's kept the heat in their tyres? Maxon jumped away nicely, but Robert Noack, his team leader and owner, is right with him. There's a little 2-3 cars gap back to Sam Paley, then Jeremy Fletcher and Nate Cicero, all very experienced drivers. Noack it's maybe trying to pull out to the left hand side, down to the bottom of the hill, but can't make that in turn 4. China Beach sitting on driver's left there to catch the unwary, or those that missed their braking point by a couple of feet. Orange and black leads for Maxon. Robert Noack in the blue and white car, then a little gap back. Oh, the leader's gone off now. Did he get a tap there from behind? As he went through turn 6, he's got a very long way off. There is just enough grass to go around the outside of the gravel trap, but he's losing acres of space. He's going to join in pretty much towards the end of the field. And he's dropped all the way down to around about 22nd, I think. Now, to see if there was just a little tag. No, he hit the inside curb. Noack can breathe. He can breathe safely there. Just too much curb on the right-hand side. That red and white curb, it's pretty flat. And now a spin as well for the orange and black number 16. And that's Gabe Tesh, who we mentioned had made up some places early on as well. Well, that's gone awry. Gabe for MDK Motorsports, 13th in the class. That's a loss on his own. Well, everyone getting used to this as they have not had time. He's back facing the right direction, and Gabe immediately back to work. Tries to go down the inside of the number 52 of Christian Bach, who is recovering himself, so that is a battle for 19th position. Stephen Veja ahead of him for NV Autosports, 3 wide as they go through the kink at turn 3. Well, the Mustangs haven't been in the hands of their new teams and drivers long, but these dark horse cars are giving us plenty of entertainment, and it's a drive back with a couple of places regained then by Gabe Tech, MDK Motorsports car, and he'll be back inside the top 20 when he comes to the start line, or should I say the finish line, next time around. I think it used to be unique in the fact that it had a start and finish line in the different place, but actually last weekend at Detroit we had the same situation. Through to complete another lap, and Noega all of a sudden has broken the toe. So having been released by his teammate going off, the pole sitter Tyler Maxson, he's pulled almost 2 seconds to the battle now for the podium positions. Sam Paley, Jeremy Fletcher, Nate Cicero, that looks like Reid Sweeney's car in there as well on the back, the black and the gold. Yes, it is. Another Robert Noaker car. So Robert Noaker, Southern Paley Motorsport, 2 McCumbee McAleers and Robert Noaker racing cars are your top 5. Then there's a wee gap of about 3 seconds back to Max Sapolsky. Zach Lee in 7th position now is the leader of the Legends, and he's got a decent lead as well, what, some 7 or 8 seconds. The battle though is for the second on down, because our leader Robert Noaker is making his bid for freedom. 22 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. Now will this battling pack start to slow each other down, with Sam Paley looking in his mirrors and all he can see is the white and blue car of Jeremy Fletcher behind him. Probably actually can't see Nate Cicero in the darker car for McCumbee McAleer Racing. Jeremy Fletcher racing with McCumbee McAleer crossing the line. The JFR car then second in this little battle pack of 4 through turn 1. Then the dark coloured number 22 is Jeremy Fletcher. Then as they come through, the dark coloured car is the 82 of Nate Cicero. And then yes, that is Reid Sweeney just hanging on to the back there at the moment. This is the best battle on the circuit. They head down through the kink towards turn 4. Through into the second half of the race as our Super Saturday racing calendar is well underway now. Sam Paley tracking through madness and up over the brow of the hill at turns 8 and 9. I always think turn 9 here is absolutely incredible. Of course the racetrack isn't going to move, it's going to be there from the last time that you came around, but you cannot see it when you commit to that very quick right-handed corner. Paley not feeling the need to be overly defensive here. He's driving his racing lines pretty neatly and tidily, and that's, I'm sure, what his team will be telling him to do. Just hit your marks, don't drive in the mirror at this point. Jeremy Fletcher for JFR, McCumbee McAleer car sitting in behind him in 3rd position there, just pulling out, getting a bit of air on the nose. Now drives to the left hand side, he's coming from a long way back into the keyhole. Paley taking the normal racing line but then hanging on the red and white curbs through the right hander at the keyhole, using all of the exit. These two maybe just breaking away a little bit from Nate Cicero and Reid Sweeney. It's still Max Sapolsky, Lee Zachary with the fastest time and the lead in the Legends class in 7th position for McCumbee McAleer. He's done a 1:32.1. And it's a 1:31.2 for Robert Noaker at the front of the field. That is the fastest lap of the race so far. DJ Randall's just put his fastest lap of the race in, as is Larry Webster. They're in 8th and 9th overall for Corin Automatic Racing. Further down the field, Stephen Verger, who in the NV Motorsports number 10 car has been having a scrap. through they go again. Looks like Jack Lewis has just done his fastest lap as well. So the leader goes through now with a 4-second advantage. What's 4 seconds? It's almost the whole of the run up from turn 1 to the keyhole as far as these cars are concerned. And Robert Nowick is super consistent. 131.225, he's fastest. 131.313 last time around. $18 minutes to go. Let's take the Ford Performance Team update. MDK Motorsports with 3 cars in the field today. 12th, 14th and 17th. And Jim Farley in a very, very special tribute livery. That is the livery that the Ford Mustang took its first ever victory in. Not in this series, I mean ever. Students of history will know exactly what I'm talking about. Number 17 car then with Jim Farley for MDK, running in 11th in class, 14th position overall. And what I like about this new Mustang is that it suits the old liveries, doesn't it? Just, you know, come on, squint a little bit and you're back in the 1960s. But with all of the updates and everything that's been learned down through the years, all of the experience that Ford have gained by racing down through the years with the Mustang and the Ford GT, it's gone into the street cars down through the years. And by the way, if you're outside of the US, particularly in the UK, you can buy a Ford Mustang with the Dark Horse pack on it in the UK. And I would suggest that you don't go to the configurator and look and see how cost effective that is. It's very, very tempting in terms of pence per smile that you would get out of that V8. Remember, it's a 6-speed manual transmission, right hand drive in the UK as well. Steering wheel in the original spot when Henry Ford first built his Model T, the steering wheel was on the right hand side. At some stage it got swapped to the left for the US. MDK, of course, Mark Rami's team. They have come on in leaps and bounds too. Relatively new to competition and have taken up the cudgels in a number of IMSA sanctioned series. Good to see them here. Time to catch back up with the battle for the second and third steps on the box. Podium fight, Sam Pearley, Jeremy Fletcher, Nate Cicero. They're all together. Reed Sweeney's dropped off a little bit in the dark coloured number 31. Robert Nowick continues to drive away. Oh, new fastest lap of the race overall by Tyler Maxson in 74 car in 7th position. Now Tyler was off on in the gravel at the exit of turn 6 and 7 earlier on, so he's fighting his way back through the field and he's back inside the top 10. This is a good drive back from Tyler in the Tiger Stripe number 74, bright orange with the black stripes and the black hood on that car as well. Again, that's very much in period. Pearley under pressure now. The car with the light front end and the blue and white stripe. Jeremy Fletcher number 22, second, third, and Nate Cicero menacingly in that black Mustang Dark Horse art, sitting in 4th position, 3rd in that little battle pack. Under 15 minutes to go now in the opening round of the 2024 Mustang Challenge. Good to have your company. I have been looking forward to this since it was announced. Had the very good fortune to take a quick lap in a Mustang Dark Horse at Mount Panorama, Bathurst, earlier this year. If you're listening to IMSA radio will play that out for you sometime over the weekend. It was absolutely incredible. And that was the street car. Things are hotting up now. Fletcher beginning maybe to feel his time is coming. But no manoeuvres at the moment. Moves out to driver's right. Traces a slightly shorter line through the turn 3 kink. Now moves over. And he's moving around in the mirrors of Sam Hailie. Will he let the brake off now down into turn 3? Thought about it. Had to ride the red-white curb on the right-hand side and actually took a little bit of dirt there with the right front tyre. Hailie is doing a stellar job. Lapping in the 32s, the leader in the 31s. Tyler Maxson about to come up on the leader in the Legends class as he fights back. Maxson in 8th, Zach Lee in 7th, but the battles for positions, they're in different classes, those two. These three are not. Noaker stretching away is over 7 seconds ahead. Zach Lee sitting ahead of the Legends in the number 58, excuse me. That's Nick Smithers. Christian Bach fighting behind him, excuse me. Christian who had to turn around earlier on. He's fighting his way through. Tesh the same as well. So Noaker at the head of the field, pulling away to a 7.5 second gap. All the battles following in behind. Legends 4th place battle we were just talking about there. And Robert Noaker beginning to pull through the field now, so he'll be glad of the 7.5 second gap. Number 13 leading has put Kai Kearns behind him. His Credit Union Mustang goes a lap down. Brandon Godovich was 4 laps down after the incident earlier on, but he's still circulating. 33.3 last time for Brandon. He'll not be happy with the start of his season in this championship. Now, with 11 minutes to go, Sam Hailie has been at the front of that little battle pack for a very long time. Let's check in for the positions from 5th over. Jim Farley with Nick Smithers, Christian Bach, Mike Stillwagon, all there, all battling for the overall spots, the general classifications. Farley in the light yellow-green car with the black hood. Red designates the Legends, by the way, on the mirrors and the shade band. Actually, it's the mirrors, isn't it? And the number panels. Smithers now under pressure in that number 58. Christian Bach in the dark horse class. I managed to get that the wrong way around, my apologies. It's blue for the Legends and red for the dark horse category. On the mirrors, easy way to spot them. How good is this? Does this not take you back? Under 10 minutes to go. 8 seconds at the head of the field. Max Opalski finding speed in 6th position as he tries to close down on Reid Sweeney. Sam Hailie still holding 2nd from Jeremy Fletcher. Nate Cicero is still there. Then there's a gap to Sweeney. These 3, only 2 of them can stand on the podium. Further down, those battles still raging on through turn 5 and 6. Who is going to bleed first? And let's not forget as well, Tyler Maxson is closing in on a top 6 place. Took almost a full second from Max Opalski last time around. Watch out for that orange and black number 74, our pole sitter for Robert Nowick Racing. He will be fuming with himself inside his racing helmet for making that tiny error that cost him 20 places. And in fact, he's just piling through the field at the moment, and that's Opalski, I think, in the blue number 2. He's just gone by in that number 74. See if you can see as he went through. He's still a couple of seconds behind, so he's in the lap traffic as well at the moment. Nice move down the inside. Nick Smithers just defending in the white and the red and blue stripes on the side and the front of the car, side by side. Further back is Mitch Marvosh in the white car. And their copy boot overtake by the number 46, Brandon Godovich, who is laps down. So yes, he's getting some time and some experience. I mentioned our Legends leader earlier on. Zach Lee goes across the line in the silver chrome Mustang. That is exceptional. Look, I know that you can do a lot with wraps now. My goodness me, what a piece of artistry that is. It does look like the car has been dipped in chromium plating. Now, I've seen slot car manufacturers do this for anniversaries where they dip the cars in silver or gold finish. But, you know, that's a 143rd or a 132nd normally in the slot cars. That's a 1-to-1 size car. And with that finish, you are going to see any wrinkle, any blister. I think that's brave. I think it's brilliantly executed. Still Smithers then, under pressure. Round the outside. For Christian Bach, tries to make it. And in fact, what he does is makes himself up. And here comes Brandon Godovich in the 46. Remember, he's 4 laps down. So this is more for pride and for data collection for later on in the weekend. Second race still to come here. Shea Adam will be joining me for that one. And what is a ridiculously busy IMSA weekend, with all of the action here at Mid-Ohio. And IMSA sanctioning races at Montreal as part of Formula 1 weekend, and at Road America as part of the IMSA weekend. So our IMSA staff spread to the 4 winds, our IMSA race control and various other staff. We wish them all well. Picking up on another great battle. There's another great set of colours. At number 2 is Max Opalski, who has now been caught by Tyler Maxson, who was our pole sitter. Opalski in the green number 2. Opalski in the Opel car. That kind of makes sense to me. The Opel coloured car, the green car. Not sure what that says about Tyler Maxson. Tyler Maxson in the orange and black. He's got himself a new nickname. He doesn't like it now, so we'll put that to one side just in case. But it has been a tigerish performance, hasn't it, since he made that mistake and dropped down to the bottom end of the top 20. Puts a right front wheel on the grass, and there might have been a little touch on Opalski there. The Michelin tyres squealing in protest from Opalski's car as he got a sideways slide on, caught it expertly. Oh, and Smithers has gone around as well. Nick Smithers in the Nick Smither racing car. Now he's gathered that up very quickly. Now let's see if we can unwrap happened there. Ooh, I think there was a touch. Even not from the right hand side of the car. And not sure about Nick Smithers. He was at the top of the hill at 6. Might have just had the car unsettled there. So Tyler Maxon's recovery continues as he's now up into 6th position. He's got 10 seconds to get up the road for Reid Sweeney. Is probably a task that is completed. But what we know now is the man who started on pole position has a very, very fast Mustang Dark Horse R. And we also know that his team leader is got a good car as well. And off goes our leader in the legend, Zach Lee. Well, very gentlemanly and with great respect for his fellow competitors, he's pulled that car out of harm's way. Put it in gear, Zach, don't let it roll down the hill. He's pulled that behind the barrier. I think he's at the bottom of the hill of turn 6. Oh! Well, smoke coming from the rear of that car. And where has he parked it? And in the meantime, we also had a spin for, I think, that was the 14 car. John Strauss of Capaldi Racing, half spin at the carousel. So Zach Lee running strongly inside the top 10 and bossing the Legends class. Tom Tate, when he comes around this time, will be scored as the leader. And there he is, goes through in 12th position. Barney will move up to 13th in the number 12 car for MDK Motorsports. So MDK procession there. We were talking about our Ford Performance team update, MDK Motorsports. There are 3 cars now. Number 16, number 8, number 17 are in 11th, 12th and 13th. And the middle one of those, Tom Tate, is leading the Legends category. At the front of the field, Robert Noaker knows, and I suspect cares, not at all about what's going on behind him. He's pulled out what can only be described as a dominant 11.5 second lead. Sam Paley still holding on to second, only just from Jeremy Fletcher and Nate Cicero. In fact, actually, Sam, I'll take that back. All of a sudden, Sam has got ahead of Jeremy Fletcher, or has pulled away from Jeremy Fletcher, and Jeremy is now fighting the rear guard battle with Nate Cicero, and Reid Sweeney's back in it with the gold stripe on the bonnet. It'll be white flag this time around for the leader as he comes through to the end of the lap. I'm just checking to see that he hasn't had it already. No, he hasn't. And that's the 58. Oh, Nick Smithers getting a little helping hand right in front of the leader, who will come now to see the white flag. And this is danger time for him. The checker will be at that finish line, not where we started down towards turn 3. So Nick Smithers getting pushed sideways again by one of the cars that was coming. Actually, he'd had his own incident, and I think that was Rod Randall for Court, who came on him very quickly. Or was it Mike Stillwagon? It was one of the single numbered cars. It was the 9, Stillwagon. Leader now right with that car, doesn't need to pass him, don't do anything silly now. Robert Noaker has driven a perfect race. He was tail gunner to the pole sitter earlier on, sitting between 2 cars that are battling for 16th and 17th position in Stillwater and Nick Smithers. Nick Smithers has had an up and down race. Found himself pointing in the wrong direction a couple of times, as everyone is getting up to speed with these cars. Sam Paley holding on and, in fact, consolidating his second position ahead of Jeremy Fletcher, who cannot rest. Fletcher cannot rest. Noaker has lifted off. They want a nice clean photograph of him and the checkered flag. History is being made at Mid-Ohio as the first ever winner of the Mustang Challenge is Robert Nuyeke from Robert Nuyeke Racing. He's got the headlamp flash on. He'll be on the top step of the box. Sam Pearley should come through in second, but he's a good 7 seconds away, even with the big lift at the end. And there he goes. Here's Jeremy Fletcher for third place. He's just about going to hold on to it. Yes, he is, from Cicero and Reed Sweeney. Those three separated by under half a second for the last step on the podium. Now, the Legends leader should be Tom Tate in the number 8 MDK car. This is the multicoloured machine. Half a lap to go. He's just where Zach Lee pulled his car over at the turn 6 and went behind the wall. I thought that was very respectful of his fellow competitors. He'd absolutely bossed it, but clearly a problem for Zach. And that has left the MDK number 8 of Tom Tate. MDK in a formation finish with Gabe Tesh going across the line now in 11th. Tom Tate will come through in 12th and Jim Farley in 13th. Magnificent stuff. And our first Legends winner then. Second in the Legends will be Mitch Marvosh. He's got Mike Stillwagon, so that pass in the white number 9 when Nick Smithers had his half spin at the carousel is going to be significant. Marvosh and Stillwagon, in fact Stillwagon's come through in second. He's got ahead of Mitch Marvosh right at the death there, so Marvosh must have had a problem. Smithers will come through in 4th in the Legends category. They looked great, they were all turned out brilliantly, they sounded fantastic. We had 3 wide at least a couple of times. Some very respectful racing, 1 or 2 little bump and runs. Not seen any penalties being assessed by race control. We are going to look at a couple of incidents post the race in Max Zapalski and Tyler Maxson for that little bump and run. So the first checkered flag of the Mustang Challenge goes to Robert Nuyeke, started on the outside of front row, and he will take home the checkered flag. The start of a brand new era for the Blue Oval as 27 Mustang Dark Horse R racing cars went out. Chloe Chambers involved in an accident early on. It wasn't all clean and the stewards have had work to do. But Robert Nuyeke takes the victory for Robert Nuyeke racing ahead of Sam and Jeremy Fletcher, and we'll be back to tomorrow. I'm John Hindhaugh. See you then.